What's up guys, TC here and welcome back to Starbound, and today we are doing a mech tip video. So we are going to be covering all the different mech parts, not all of them, just the ones I recommend, some good builds and some general tips to use in space, because there's quite a few things that people are confused about and they don't know that there's just a lot of stuff that needs to be cleared up. So with that being said, let's jump into it. First, we're going to take a look at all the different mech pieces. You got your body, your two arms, your boosters, and your legs. The horn is just like an extra thing. All it does is help makes like a unique noise, as you would think. It doesn't actually help you in combat. So, if we look at these pieces here, you're going to see they all have their own little sets of stats. All of them have 2 except for the weapons, which only have 1. And you're going to notice that these have a sum total. You can have, so like this one here has 5 in energy, 3 in defense. So for like, there's a total possible amount of points as 10 if you were to somehow get 5 in both. But what you're going to notice is that all the mech pieces are going to top out at a sum total of 8. So like right here, this is one of the best ones you can get, right? So it has 5 in max energy, 3 in defense. There are other ones that have 5 in defense, 3 in energy. There are ones like this one over here, the Lilatron, that's mixed, so it's balanced 4 and 4 for both. But you will see that none of them ever go over that sum total of 8. So that's kind of the trade-off. So I would always strive to get for one that has a total of 8 if you can, because that's going to kind of, I don't know, it's going to give you your best shot. Now the boosters, again, they have the same set here, so these guys follow that same rule of 8 where they don't ever go over 8. So you're going to see these are the ones I like the most. It's kind of up to you if you like maneuverability or speed. I kind of like the speed for just being able to get away quickly, but the maneuverability is also very vital depending on what you're fighting. So these here are some of the best ones. Again, try to go for ones that have a total of 8. The legs don't really matter that much. Honestly, this is the least important thing on the mech build, and probably the last thing I would invest in building. Because your ground speed and your jump power, really, if you're using it on a planet, you're not going to be able to use it for very long anyways, because there's not much of a way to heal the mech up, you know, in vanilla yet. So you're going to be on the ground, you can't get those batteries to recharge it, so you're not going to go on very long. Now, as far as weapons go, I have 3 or 4 suggestions on what to use, and I've got a couple things I definitely want you to avoid because they're just not good unless you just want a challenge. So one thing I would start off by saying is the melee weapons are very risky. They're strong, but they're not like super strong, so I don't necessarily recommend them, but if you are going to go with one, I'd go with the Energy Blade Mech Arm. And what I would recommend against is never carry 2 melee weapons, because there are some monsters that are designed to orbit your mech and not get close enough to you for you to melee it. So if you're out there with 2 melee weapons, there's some that you literally can't kill them. So I would always recommend having at least 1 gun on you. My preference is 2 guns, in fact 2 of the same gun. So real quick, I'm gonna change my mech out. I'm gonna be using a little trick here to load my mech. I'm gonna use the /reload command, which is gonna auto change my mech. There we go. So now my mech has both of the arm pieces that are this one is, what is it called again? This is the Energy Rifle Mech Arm. So I prefer these things here over the sniper one. So if you're kind of wanting to do that long range play, I like these a lot better. For one simple reason, the sniper rifles, really strangely, whenever you shoot them, like if you fire them at the same time like this, they don't do combined damage. So let's spawn in Punchy real quick. He's going to go flying away because of this map. Oops. So we're only going to have 1 chance to shoot them. But you'll notice these things here do 320 each. So if we shoot them at the same time, they do 640, as you would expect. The sniper rifles do more damage per shot by just a little bit more, but if you shoot them at the exact same time, they don't do cumulative damage. It just does, I think it's 350. So it just does 350 damage, even though you shot both at once. So I like the sniper rifles at first, but I don't recommend them anymore. Just because I don't know if they're bugged or they just don't work right, or if that's how they're supposed to. But with this thing here, you can get a good combined powerful shot off early. So you can kind of float around and kind of engage your targets at range and get a good chunk of damage off on them before they get to you, just by shooting these long range shots. Also, strangely enough, the sniper rifles actually have a limited range, as these things here don't. So the sniper rifle will shoot to about right here where my cursor is, and these things shoot all the way off screen. So I definitely recommend these for the long range, and they've got pretty good rate of fire on them too. They're a little bit faster than sniper rifle, but they're a little bit weaker. So we're gonna hop out real quick. The next ones I want to show you, and this one's really cool. It's entirely unique actually. So this is the Tesla Stream Mech Arm. So once again, we're gonna have to reload. Whoopsie. There we go. Now these things look really cool. They're little Tesla rods or whatever, and they shoot these little pulses out like that. And we're gonna spawn in Punchy. The good thing is they have no knockback on them, so we can actually do. Oh crap! I hit the reload button, I think. Where is Punchy at? There he is. So these things won't kick Punchy off, which is great. Now the unique things about these here is these have a brand new status effect that is unique to this 1.3 update. So the status effect is called Overload, and it's an electric variety status effect. And what you're going to notice here is if I shoot Punchy for a couple seconds and let off, you're going to see it's a countdown of damage over time. So you'll see if I hold it, if it charges up to like 6 or 7 seconds, it'll count down. 7, 6. So, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right? So what that means is the longer the concentrated fire you can get on him, the longer you're going to see he has this damage over time, which is really, really good. So if you can just basically spray a couple enemies really, really quickly before they ever have a chance to engage you and hold it on them concentrated, they'll lose so much health before they get over to you because of all this damage over time. So like just doing that, look, he has 25 seconds of, well, I think it's like twice per second, so he has 15 seconds of taking damage over time. That's a really long time to be taking damage like that. So these little things here are highly recommended. They're really fast. They've got pretty good range on them. They do a decent amount of damage, and they're really great to just kind of spam in groups, and you just kind of do cumulative damage over time with them. So we're going to hop out here, and now the last ones I recommend, and these are by far, in my opinion, the best ones. These are the guided missile mech arm, right? So these things it shoots 3 rockets per arm, and you can guide them with your cursor. There's 2 varieties of these. There's one that shoots 3, and there's one that shoots like 5 or 6. The ones that shoots 5 or 6 tiny ones, I don't like it because it doesn't do as much damage over. It's harder to get them to like all cluster in one spot, and they're also a little bit harder to control. So real quick, we're gonna reload. There we go, and you'll see right here we've got these. So when we fire it, you're gonna see you can kind of control these things. They don't have the craziest range, but they do allow you to do fun stuff like shoot around corners. Which is really useful especially for those like turrets that are mounted on stuff. So you could maybe shoot around this corner and shoot. It really works on anything. You can shoot around corners and hit targets that can't even engage you. And it doesn't really hurt that they hit really hard too. Although they don't seem to be hitting Punchy for some reason. Let's see if we can spawn Punchy on the ground. There we go. So just those 2 rockets that hit him did 280. Let's try one more time. Well. We're struggling here. Let's try, that should do it. There we go. That did 420. We just landed only 1. So, if we can hit both of these on him at the same time, that did 840. So, these are above and beyond the best weapons. They do the highest amount of damage. They're easy to guide. They've got pretty good range on them. You can shoot around corners. They're just really good weapons all around. Extremely powerful. Yeah, so definitely if you can get these puppies, I highly recommend it. Now, there are a couple things that people don't know that I wanted to clear up. First, if it wasn't clear, so when I first did my review video, there was a weird bug where you couldn't pick up the batteries that monsters drop. And so for those of you who don't know, whenever you kill monsters in space, they drop the batteries, and that's how you recharge your mech. But during the initial patch, you couldn't pick them up all the time, so that made it very, very difficult. Now, they've also already hot patched. They've already made 2 hot patches since the initial release. And I think they've adjusted the monster stats, and they have fixed that bug where you can pick up the batteries now. So it's a lot more balanced overall, but there's a little bit of confusion. First off, people seem to be thinking that your armor plays a factor. Your armor doesn't do anything. You can, it doesn't matter how much armor you have on. Like I just showed you guys, it did like 420 a shot or something. So if we take all this stuff off, I'll just show you real quick. Hop back up on our mech. Wow. Okay, we're gonna try this. Well, there you go. It still does 840, as you can see. We had no armor on there. So that's a big misconception I think a lot of people are confused about, and I understand why, because everything else in the game is built on that concept that your weapons have a kind of a default health or a damage, and you power them up with your armor, because that's how guns are, that's how weapons are, that's how your pets are. So you don't have to worry about that, although I do recommend having on armor, because the only point in time where your armor matters is if your mech gets blown up, it does explosive damage, and you will take damage from that. And if you're not wearing armor, you will die. So I highly recommend you wear armor if you think you're gonna die. Now the last little bit here, actually hold on, let's step back. Another thing is that you can't, like if you do like a status of some kind, like the rage buff or speed buff, those don't translate to your mech. So that was something else I tried to cheese and see if I could, you know, get my mech even more powered up. Doesn't work, so that won't. Let's kill this guy. There we go, demolished. But yeah, so you can't use status effects on yourself. They don't translate to your mech, so don't bother with that. Now there is one little thing you can do. You can use pets in space encounters. Now there's a new pet here called the Parasprite. He's the only new capturable monster. He's pretty rare, I think. You only find him in one particular dungeon encounter in space. He's a melee monster. It's pretty high health. He's not that fast, but he's a decent little pet to have in space, and any flying monster will work. So even ones that you find on planets that can fly, as long as they can fly, they're a good pet. Now, the problem is don't expect your pets to be doing much damage, because the monsters in space are really strong. So they do a ton of damage. Your pet won't last too long, but it will at least serve as a bit of a distraction, get a little bit of damage off. And if you are struggling to, you know, if you're trying to get every little bit of help you can, maybe bring a pet with you, because it would help. It definitely, they do at least some damage. And if you throw like a good healing collar on them, now do remember that your pet is related to your armor, so if you are going to bring a pet, make sure you're fully armored up so your pet can have all the benefits of it. Be sure to give them a collar, like I gave mine the healing 3 collar, and then you'll be able to use them in space or whatever. So that's the general rundown for the mechs. If you guys have any questions or anything or comments or anything like that, just let me know in the comment section and I will see if I can answer them. There's a whole bunch of confusion going on, so I'm hoping this episode has kind of cleared it up a bit. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Please rate, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to y'all later.